There we go. I got my camera set up here. Let's hide this. There we go. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Pablo here, Bull Bitcoin. Welcome to the Bullpen. Bullpen 04. Yep. Here we go. Let's just move some things around. I'm doing this on the fly, so nice to see everybody, and welcome to this fourth episode of the Bullpen. We're going to take a little review about what I've been up to over the past while. Coming at you a little bit early today. Yep, a little bit early. Realized that there's some things going on this afternoon, so I just kind of bumped this one forward. I think midday Eastern's a good time. Shout out to all my Quebec crew, everybody who's around on a lunch break. I hope lunch is tasty. I hope you're savoring the day. Also, hello to all the European folks who've probably clocked off work, out of the fiat mines and back on the way home. To your families and your friends and your flatmates, I hope today was productive. It's a Tuesday. Glorious day here where I am. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that, about where I've been, where I'm at, where I'm going, my maneuvers over the next few days. But right about now, I'm coming at you live from San Salvador. So I'm very happy to be here with you guys. Happy to have the show going. You know, I made I don't know if it's a mistake. It had to be done. But decided to start up the Bullpen only 4 weeks ago. Seems like a long time now, but only 4 weeks ago. And it was just before traveling. So I've been on the go for like nearly 2.5 weeks now. So yeah, with anybody who's thinking about setting up something out there, if you set up a recurring podcast, make sure you do it when you got a bit of time to get your setup all ready and know what's going on. Because right about now, we're just going with the flow. We're just hitting record, trying to get stuff working. I'm on an Airbnb Wi-Fi in the middle of the city. I just got into this Airbnb last night, so hopefully the stream's good. I see there's a lot of people watching, which is great to hear. Shout out to Alex. He's there in the chat with a smiley face, so I think that means everything's good for the stream. YouTube's working at least. That's good. I can see Instagram. We got the Instagram feed on the go. That's also working. Just gonna check out X. See if we've got X on the go as well. And then once that's all set up, we'll kind of dive into a few things here. But thanks for joining me. Always good fun to be connected with the best and brightest in the Bitcoin universe, which is you guys, the Bull Bitcoin Bullpen audience. Yeah, let's take a look at X if we're live here. I know we had some issues with X on the Bull Bitcoin account regarding premium and our subscriptions there. I think we got to pay Elon some more sats, get what we need from him. But if you're getting hounded like me, you can see they're going all in. They got the Black Friday 40% off on the premium. So personally, I don't have premium on my personal account. Not something I thought I needed. I don't say a lot really. Don't say a lot really on Twitter. I just kind of post some small things, but definitely good to be using the Bull Bitcoin account here, leveraging that audience. But for sure, it's Fiat holiday coming up soon, right? You know, I think Black Friday is probably the biggest Fiat festival to have ever hit the civilized world, right? We've been hammered about it for the past few days, and it's coming up. You know, I live in Canada, so Canada doesn't really have the Thanksgiving, Black Friday, vacational culture. We had our Thanksgiving a long time ago. It was a few weeks ago. It's usually the second week of October. But, you know, the dollar rules all. So we bend the knee and we celebrate Black Friday for whatever that may be as an excuse to get rid of our fiat and trade it for what we hope will be products that will either increase our quality of life or escape the woes of the fiat nightmare or whatever it may be. So yeah, Black Friday coming up. I know a lot of people are looking to benefit from that. But what I'd like to kind of launch, I tried to launch it last year, something that we'd call like an Orange Friday. So tee up any money that you would be affording to spend on promotions on Black Friday and just buy some Satoshis, sit back, and in a year's time, from one Black Friday to the next, just work out. You know, that extra large TV you bought, what's it worth to you now? What was it worth to you then? Or, you know, that impulsive Costco purchase, what was it worth to you then? What's it worth to you now? And then those Satoshis you bought, what did it cost you then? And what's it worth now? So yeah, I'd like the Bitcoiners to be able to do something for Black Friday. I think it would be fun. I think it would be useful. It's always quite interesting to bookmark points of the year or certain Bitcoin transactions and then look back on them retrospectively just to find out to prove that number go up technology is beneficial. That trading fiat for pretty much anything is a good way to go. Fiat is trash, cash is trash, but trading fiat for Bitcoin is the strongest trade you can make. Easiest way to put your Satoshis there and sit back, you know, nothing else you need to do. Just watch the calendar cross off the days one by one and make it through the year and look back in a year's time and see if you were wise enough, see if that was a good decision for you. But a lot of Bitcoiners out there who bought Bitcoin last Black Friday, Orange Friday, I'm going to call it. Orange Friday. Anybody who bought Bitcoin last Orange Friday? Pretty much sure it was a good move. I'm pretty much sure that was the best switch for fiat you could have made versus any other products, services, goods on the market there. If you'd have traded in for sats 365 days ago, you'd have made a good choice there. All right, let's get my ticker up here on the go. It's going to be a little out of date. What are we on? We're on Bullpen 04. What's the block height? I got this thing over my shoulder. Let's see if we can see it here. This was my purchase from adopting Bitcoin. We'll speak a little bit about adopting Bitcoin in the coming minutes whilst we're together. But shout out to Jury and all of the Node Runners crew out in the Netherlands. Netherlands Bitcoiners go hard. I had such a great time hanging out with those guys. But Jury made this what's called the BT clock as an open sourced Bitcoin tracker. So when I'm updating my ticker, I'm just going to take the block height right from there. So at 872,097, easy. And I'm just going to calculate out Moose Jaw time, and then we can get our ticker on the go. So Moose Jaw time is my version of Moscow time. Moscow time is how many sats you can get for $1 US. And Moose Jaw time is, well, you kind of guessed it. It's how many sats you can get for one of those Canadian moose shekels. And it's looking like a small amount right now. We've seen a lot of all-time highs on the US dollar in the last few days, last week. But we forget that other currencies are losing to the US dollar. So all-time highs were being declared across the world before last week, just not in the US dollar. So it's interesting to spot those things out, you know, which currencies are getting the all-time highs first. Cause for celebration for the Bitcoiners, but, you know, I kind of cry harder for anybody else who's stuck in the fiat system. Because the sooner your currency hits an all-time high against Bitcoin, well, the quicker you're losing value to Bitcoin. So, you know, the alarm bells should be ringing. If your currency is reaching all-time highs super quick, time to escape. Time to escape. Time to get out there. All right, I think I got my Moose Jaw time here. At 7:57. So let's save that. Let's have that scroll. There we go. All right. So we're on business. the bullpen, 04. We're at block height 872,097. TikTok next block. I'm coming at you live from, let me have a look here, live from my Airbnb in San Salvador. I loved it so much I decided to stay an extra week here. So here I am. Beautiful place, great people, fantastic culture, fantastic weather. We're having a good old time. Originally came out here for a couple events. I was out here for the Mi Premia Bitcoin Unconference. They put on a whole host of events throughout the city. Starting a couple of weeks ago, we had a meetups. I managed to participate in a meetup. We had a graduation ceremony, which was fantastic. We also had a board games night. We got to play some different Bitcoin-related board games, some of which I've purchased and will be bringing back to Scandinavia in the next few days. And then we had the Unconference where I was talking about my vision of Evangelization 2.0, which was super interesting. Some great people, some great talks. I really liked the format of the Unconference, very open style conference where people propose what they want to talk about on the morning of the event, and we all vote to move things around the agenda and find times and places where we can all discuss what's fascinating us at that time. So that was a really awesome event. And from the Unconference, we went straight into adopting Bitcoin, which was at this beautiful venue just on the outskirts of San Salvador, here in El Salvador. And 2 days of high signal, very high signal. I went to Nashville. I was fortunate to go to Nashville this year. But Nashville was a lot of people, a lot of booths, a lot of corporate investment, a lot of noise, a lot of hype. Really cool. Very good to fuel up the bullish energy. But adopting Bitcoin was next level. Really cool. Shout outs to everybody who organized that, especially Kamal, who I got to meet at the after party. But an amazing event with some great talks. But just honestly, like most conferences, I didn't attend a lot of talks. I spent a lot of time just hanging out at the back of rooms or in the corridors or outside the booths, just getting to know some people and having conversations, sharing connections, working on projects together. So very excited about what's going to come. I have a notebook here full of people, of ideas, of projects, of everything we can do to help adopt it. Bitcoin. So it was a very, very, very strong event. I was very grateful to be there. I also did a talk as well about Evangelization 2.0 and my vision of how we can hack different ways of using pedagogy, which is something I trained in previously. Using pedagogy, which is the science of teaching, and how we can leverage that to increase our orange pill capacity. You know, can we trace new neural pathways? Can we work on how we teach Bitcoin? Can we be self-critical? Can we use new tools and skills to improve our teaching ability when talking about Bitcoin? So I was very honored to be able to present that, and it was well received. And off the back of it, there were a lot of people who came to me and support the cause and want to collaborate. So looking forward to what's going to come with that, for sure. So adopting Bitcoin was great. Unconference was great. The meetups were great. That was San Salvador, which is the capital city here in El Salvador. And then after that, after 4 or 5 days of intense back-to-back events, headed out to El Zonte, aka Bitcoin Beach, for some time by the ocean. I'd never swum in the Pacific Ocean. It was part of a bucket list I had. So that was a wonderful experience, hanging out with Bitcoiners on the beach, watching the sunrise and the sunset, and between those two, talking about Bitcoin, using Bitcoin, living Bitcoin. It was probably the first time I've really connected to that kind of Bitcoiner lifestyle out in El Zonte. So that was something that was a must as a Bitcoiner now. I've been working in Bitcoin for about 3 years. So it was excellent to be able to dive into the Bitcoin culture head first and be in such a beautiful place with so many talented people, and get to enjoy that experience with them. And I loved all of that so much, I decided to stay an extra week. So here I am, just working out of an Airbnb for Bull Bitcoin, but holding on out here in Bitcoin country. So life is good. Life is good. Let's just check and see how everything's going here. Yeah, we got people over here. Looks like Instagram is still live. If anybody wants to chat away or ask any questions, feel free. I can pin them up here and interact with you folks. I'm just getting used to this streaming platform. Never considered myself a streamer until now, but I think it's always important to let you know what's going on here at Bull Bitcoin, how we're engaging with the community, what we're doing. My work as what we call a Bitcoin evangelist, what it involves. I always want to share that and try and open source our operations, not just our tech stack and not just our wallet. And in between the events that we organize, the conferences, the talks with Francis, the interviews, I just want to kind of give you a little update about our maneuvers, where we're at, where we're trying to move towards. We're walking that hard path, but it's good to have you guys along with us, joining us for this wild ride. It's a wild ride, huh? One of the most interesting things last week was surrounded by all these Bitcoiners and the price was pumping, but not a lot to talk about price. Some really dedicated people out there who are really focused on bringing Bitcoin to the world and what we can do and how we can live by those values and give way to the new Bitcoin era, this dawn of a new technology, which is giving us back our time and freedom technology, enabling us to travel like I do now on a Bitcoin standard, connecting with people through this beautiful protocol, to be able to exchange value, to be able to collaborate and work together, and work things out. It's super exciting. Super exciting. Okay, let's see if I can share a screen here. Let's dip into some different aspects of what's going on. All right. So first of all, I'm going to present you a little slide here. Let's just check in with the time chain calendar. Okay, there we have it. Okay, so as we can see, let's go for a quick refresh. I love this website, by the way. If you've never used this website, this is timechaincalendar.com. As you can see here, I set it as my homepage. This is my dashboard. Some people, they check the weather when they wake up. Some people check the fiat stock market when they wake up. I like to check this one. And let's see, there we go. New block just been mined, 872,098. Basically, this website is a great place for learning as well. You get the information, you recognize some things, the block height in the middle. Obviously, people usually start with the price, but then this website enables you to delve a bit further and further into Bitcoin and how it works. What are some of the key metrics under the hood? How the network is behaving as we speak and where it's going, and each little number here is an entry point to learning. So if you're curious about looking at this type of page, if you see things that are unfamiliar to you, you can do a bit of the research. So like I said, here's the Moscow time that we have here, which is 1065. So that's the amount of sats we can buy for $1 USD. But up here in the Great White North, where Bull Bitcoin is based, we're operating on Moose Jaw time. So we got Moose Jaw time coming along here. Just edit this thing here. So we got Moose Jaw time at 0.57 approximately. So as you can see, the lower that number, the stronger Bitcoin is compared to that fiat currency. So I think we're going to get to midnight on the Moose Jaw time a lot quicker than we'll get to midnight on the Moscow time. And those two different times are a great way to compare the outperformance of Bitcoin versus the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. So also we can check on some of the fees and how the fees are responding at the moment. Fees are, with all of this talk around transactions and prices and all-time highs, it's been good to see that the fees haven't jumped too much. Market cap is climbing nicely. We're at 1.86 trillion, give or take 100 million, as my friend Piano Matty B says. If you guys don't check that show out, Piano Matty B in the morning is my go-to show. Let's see if we can find it here real quick. I do very much like this show. I listened to it this morning. Piano Matty B is a talented musician who does a morning show every morning. Let's just share that up here. And it's a beautiful combination of music and technical analysis. Here it is, Piano Matty B. His show streams live every morning throughout the week, 9 a.m. Eastern. And he gives a breakdown of what's been going on in the Bitcoin price whilst singing and delving into things via the piano. So it's a great mix of technical analysis, but also background music. And then his son Duke comes and joins him as well. So we got the family aspect in there as well. So yeah, I love this one. It's a great combo of entertainment and high signal. So if you want to check it out in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Piano Matty B, give it a check. So I was checking this out this morning and going through some of my stats. And yeah, that's where we're at. So I wanted to just delve in real quick as well. Let's take a look at this. This is the BT clock that I have behind me right here. But we've got a little preview window. This is the dashboard of the BT clock. So I managed to purchase this from Jury at Adopting Bitcoin. And basically what it does is it plugs in to the power socket, powers up, and gives you a quick QR code. With that QR code, you'll Wi-Fi connect to the hotspot it creates. It creates a little Wi-Fi hotspot. So you connect in with your cell phone, and you enter its dashboard, and then using that dashboard, you connect it to your home Wi-Fi, or in this case, my Airbnb Wi-Fi. And from that, once it's connected to the internet, it can pull all types of information. And this is the dashboard that you get from it. It's a great job. We've got a lot of things we can choose. As you can see up here, we've got the block height at the moment, but we can switch that for, let's have a look at ticker. I'll give you the price right now, so we're about at 93,870. You can check out the market cap. There we go. Pretty much matches up with everything we got over here on the time chain calendar. So you got real-time stats displayed on this beautiful clock here, and as you can see from my LEDs, I set this thing up over my shoulder because I decided to stay an extra week, and as a true El Salvadorian patriot, I changed my BT clock to blue, white, and blue LEDs. So we got the El Salvador edition over my shoulder right here, which is it's a shame my little name badge is covering that up there. But anyway, you can kind of see it over my shoulder. Maybe I can prop up my laptop. So this was great. I really like this project. It's the type of thing that you start doing when you learn more and more about Bitcoin. You get all these little gadgets. You can start off with your wallets and moving things around. But then anything like a lottery miner, like these great BitX projects, or a BT clock, or a node. These are fantastic ways to launch into upscaling myself. If you're out there and listening to this and you think, hey, I'm not a technical guy. I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a programmer. I can't use Bitcoin. Bitcoin will show you the way. Bitcoin will show you the way into becoming more self-sovereign, into becoming more technically skilled. And it's a fun learning process. The more you learn about Bitcoin, the more your technical abilities grow. It's almost like a natural evolution of becoming a Bitcoiner as you learn more and more about technology in general. Personally, from my point of view, I was tired of being a user, signing into, I think I mentioned this on Robin Sayers' podcast. I was tired of being a user of technology, you know, just having a username and a password and logging in and being at the behest of the .coms and the Facebooks and the Twitters. And Bitcoin puts you more at the driver's seat financially. When you start owning Bitcoin, you become more financially sovereign, but also you become more technically sovereign. It's an open network, so you can participate in this network. You're not just on the outside looking in or in this gated community where they keep you in. You can venture, you can wander, you can explore and learn and break things. You know, this BT clock, I connected, stuff went wrong, and you can fix it again. And, you know, you build up confidence in your technical abilities and technical skills as you move from different services and you create different ways of interfacing with Bitcoin. It really is a great way to grow. So if you're sat there at home thinking, hey, I'm just a basic computer user, I don't have the skills. Well, Bitcoin will bootstrap you through all of those technical skills, through networking, through encryption, through APIs. We have all these beautiful ways we can interface with Bitcoin. And there's so much information out there nowadays. We're working on getting as much information as possible to the public. But for those of you who want a deep dive, there's a million projects. There's a million projects to deep dive out there. Bitcoin does enable you to learn these things and enables you to upskill. So I absolutely love it. Love it to death. So yeah, this is my BT clock and the little dashboard that we got going on here. So let's put it back on the block height. This one's my favorite one. There it goes. Okay. So shout out to Jury with this one. It's an open sourced Bitcoin ticker, and we like it a lot. So speaking of, let me just see if I can play this. Speaking of Robin Sayer, I was mentioning about not being a technically skilled guy on his podcast. I just listened to this morning. If anybody wants to check it out on the Robin Sayer podcast, we have one of the Bull Bitcoin missionaries, and I'd call him a mercenary, to be honest. Jaime Garcia was on the Robin Sayer podcast. This just, I think this just came out, a few hours ago. I was listening to this morning, which was great. It was recorded before Robin came to El Salvador. We got to hang out. In fact, we were on the same plane together. So Robin and I spent some time sat down talking about Bitcoin during our long flight from Toronto to San Salvador. And great to get to know him. I'd already had an interview with him, but obviously offline conversations are a little bit different. So we could talk about life in Bitcoin and travel and content and media and all these different things. So he's got a great platform, great guy. And I'll just pause it here because you can see he's got an interview with Jaime Garcia, who's an El Salvadorian-born Canadian Bitcoiner. Very, very involved with Mi Premier Bitcoin. He's running one of the nodes here up in Canada. So responsible for educating people via a 10-week program, I believe. I think he runs it in 10 weeks, maybe 5. It's 10 chapters, which is using the Mi Premier Bitcoin diploma. We can check that out real quick. Premier Bitcoin. Let's have a look and find this real quick for you. Yeah, My First Bitcoin. So this is a open source diploma, which is a super interesting project based out of here in El Salvador. And Jaime is one of the associate. I think we can find him in the education network. Let's jump in here and see if we can find him. We have different people around the world, and yeah, there he is, MPB Canada. So he's this little dot on the map here up in Canada, and thanks to him, he's bringing Bitcoin education to Canadians and helping people through this node network, which is a super forward-thinking way of going. Bitcoin requires adoption, but adoption requires education. So here on Mi Premier Bitcoin, offering the resources you would need if you're out there thinking, hey, I'd like to teach my family, friends, or my local community about Bitcoin. Check this out for sure. They have a great education network. They've got, at the moment, 56 nodes in 32 countries. And they're bringing Bitcoin education via open source resources. So give it a try. Check it out. I think the first time I really saw Mi Premio Bitcoin, I got handed the diploma, printed out, the physical copy, and I was super impressed, super impressed. It was as a teacher. I used to be a teacher in the fiat world, a fiat teacher in a centralized government education system. So I rage quit due to COVID. Thank you, COVID. So I was looking to find my way as a Bitcoiner in education, and I got handed the Mi Premio Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin diploma. And as soon as I opened it, I said, "Wow, it really legitimized and standardized what education could look like." Because, like most Bitcoiners, we kind of learn through podcasts and through live streams and this type of. Yo, what up, Bitcoin Jungle? We got Bitcoin Jungle joining us here. Yo, on Twitter, which is nice to see. We can maybe talk about Bitcoin Jungle in a little bit as well. So many things to talk about. I've been definitely meeting a lot of people from a lot of cool projects. So yeah, maybe we'll jump into Bitcoin Jungle in a little second. But for the moment, Mi Premio Bitcoin, yeah. They handed me this document. I was at the Canadian Bitcoiners conference in Montreal around about May time. And my buddy Tristan from Learning Bitcoin handed me the diploma, and that was like the genesis of me understanding what was required, what could be done, and what needed to be done in terms of Bitcoin education. The diploma was an amazing document, and still is, and it's being worked on, and I'm looking forward to collaborating and working on it as well. I think at some point I'm going to go through a full presentation of my vision and my collaborations. I want to present Evangelization 2.0, which was my talk at Adopting Bitcoin in the conference. I think I'm going to bring that out maybe on the bullpen at some point. We'll go through my slides and have a look at all these fancy words that I dug out to explain how we can modify and how we can apply pedagogy to Bitcoin education. But anyway, that's to come later. So yeah, this getting handed my first Bitcoin diploma was a starting point. It was a hallelujah moment, a kind of wow. It was a source of inspiration. I knew that Bitcoin education is legit, is the future, is what people need and what people are working on. So to have that thrust into my hands way back in May, well, that said about the process, which is why I'm here in El Salvador, in Bitcoin country. So very pivotal, very, very, very pivotal experience interacting with my first Bitcoin. At the moment, looking to teach this in Quebec City. And I think my contribution to this program will be helping to translate it into French. It's available in so many languages. Like it says there, it's in 32 countries. And all the way across the map here, you can see on this map, these are educators around the world who are teaching my first Bitcoin diploma, onboarding Bitcoiners. So obviously each country has different cultural and societal and linguistic requirements. But as you can see in Europe, France and Quebec here, I think France and Quebec here need some French teaching. So I'm going to help try and deliver that, and we're going to help with a team of volunteers, an army of volunteers, translate this into French and get it rolled out. Because as you know, Bull Bitcoin has also launched in France. We have Bull Bitcoin Europe with a team of diehard French Bitcoiners, people like Theo, people like GG, people like Gilles helping us out there. So we're delivering a self-custodied exchange to Europe through Bull Bitcoin in France. And I'd like to be able to round up a bit of education with this as well. So we need more French-speaking education. I'll be joining the guys in the Bull Bitcoin podcast. They do a podcast in French as well. So I'm hoping to be able to speak a bit of French, discuss Bitcoin in French, but also teach Bitcoin in French. So I mentioned this a little bit in the past few days, looking to make this happen. So yeah, an amazing platform. If you need to check it out, it's myfirstbitcoin.io. Myfirstbitcoin.io is the website, and an amazing organization. I've got some interviews with some of their key players and their founder John as well. It was cool to get to know the team. Let's have a look at them real quick. Education Network. Our team. Here we go. So yeah, got to hang out with pretty much all these people on this list. Some wonderful, talented people, John and all of his team. They did a great job organizing a lot of the event. Arnold was a kind of key organizer as well here, and it was great to see them all together. Oh, shout out to Hector, by the way, Hector Alvero. I asked him; he did an amazing presentation on. I kind of gave like a vision of how I see Bitcoin education. It's quite kind of theoretical, which is ironic because my approach is interactive. But then, almost if by design, Hector came out as a talk which followed mine early in the morning on the unconference, and he basically demonstrated what interactive learning looks like, cooperative learning, all of these fancy terms, but he didn't go into the theory, he just did it. And it was a beautiful talk, and he had everybody interacting with each other, talking, discussing, and he demonstrated, what did he demonstrate? He demonstrated basically consensus, and he demonstrated mining and difficulty adjustment through interactive activities without any jargon, without any required technology. It was super simple using basic tools that anybody could have access to, like pen and paper. But these beautiful activities that really meshed with what I'd like to be doing. So yeah, big shout out to Hector, to be honest. He's a very engaging, gotta sign in here. Very engaging, very dynamic, very, let me just zoom into his profile a little bit there. Let's read his description. Let's see what he says. So as a Bitcoin educator with more than 15 years of experience in higher education as a professor, trainer, and business leader, he holds a Master's of Information Technology degree from Capella University and serves as host to the Broward County Bitcoiners Meetup. Yeah, he's based in the Florida area, around Miami way. So he's, an active member of the Bitcoin community. But his workshop at the Unconference was very inspirational. Very inspirational. So as soon as his conference finished, I showed up and I was like, "Hey, Hector," because it was at a brewery. So great choice of venue, by the way. I was like, Hector. So I was like, "You want to grab a beer?" So we sat down and grabbed a beer, and we just went back and forth about how we can help each other in different aspects of Bitcoin education, our backgrounds as teachers, our passions, our skills, our weaknesses. And basically, I resulted in asking him. The first thing I said to him was, Hector, can you please mentor me? I think he was quite flattered by that and quite like, oh, I don't know how to do that. But seriously, it was very inspirational and a key part of my time out here. So I really enjoyed that. Sorry, I just delved into fanboying over Hector Alvero, but an amazing educator. He does a lot of development of educational material for Mi Primer Bitcoin. Also, Scott Lindbergh. Shout out to Scott. I'm gonna go and grab something real quick. I'll be right back. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm back. Let me just plug back in a second here. Plug these little ear speakers in. There we go. So I'm back. So yeah, shout out to Scott as well, because as we can read from his description here, Scott is also bringing a really nice aspect to the Bitcoin education space. He's responsible for what we call free market kits. And free market kits do lots of different interactive activities, and one of them is this board game here. We got Huddle Up, which was a generous donation from one of my friends. It's coming out to Quebec, so I'm bringing this to the meetups. Maybe might drop it off at the coffee shop so we can play over a cup of coffee in Quebec City. But Huddle Up is basically an interactive board game which helps people understand how mining works. And this was designed by Scott and his wife, Tally. So I managed to have some good conversations with Scott as well about his vision of interactive learning and education. And again, he's another core member of the Mi Primer Bitcoin team. And so these were kind of two out-of-towners who were in El Salvador for the conference, but also a particular shout-out to all of the El Salvadorians working at this organization. I had some great conversations about, adoption across El Salvador and how the program is playing out, and how the events, Emilio was working super hard, like planning so many cool events and the meetups here in San Salvador. His experience, and one of my favorite quotes from him, which I'll keep using, is, you'd ask him, Emilio, how you doing? And he's saying, working for Bitcoin. This guy, he's got it tattooed on his heart. He's always working for Bitcoin. We had some good talks about previous fiat jobs and working in fiat call centers and Canadian companies that we've both worked at, and how we managed to escape the fiat mines and start working for Bitcoin, and the role it's played in our lives, and how it's got us to where we are. So Emilio's story was super inspiring as well, and yeah, I got to speak with John as well. Got an interview out of the back of a pickup truck, which I had no idea. It was my first real car journey from the city out to El Zonte, and I caught a lift with a few of the Mi Prima Bitcoin guys who were driving out there. No space in the pickup, so we jumped in the bed in the back, threw my suitcase in there, and in the back of the truck was John eating soup on a Sunday. It was it's a beautiful place. I've really enjoyed like adventuring around this country. It has felt very adventurous, and it's been a while since I've done that. I've traveled since COVID, but very much travels to see friends or family, just very kind of ordinary travel. But this time it felt very much like an adventure. So big time adventures, and one of them was adventuring around from San Salvador, driving out to the Bitcoin beach, El Zonte, and getting to spend some time speaking with John out of the back of a pickup. So audio came out well. I was surprised with that. I got to test these little. I have these little DJI microphones. If anybody has used these in the past, I've just started using them as a brand new streamer. I can't believe I'm doing this, actually. Thank you for everybody listening. This is only my 4th live stream, and I never thought I'd be doing this. I've done online learning and things, but speaking into a camera whilst being live on these platforms is kind of an odd way to do things, but I'm enjoying it and getting used to it. But anyway, back to the audio side of things. So I use a little microphone like this, which just clips onto the lapel. But this thing, I love this phrase for this thing. It's called a dead cat, right? So if anybody works in audio, you'll know what this is. You'll see them usually like on bloopers dropping down from the top of a Hollywood film. The sound guy who operates the boom will have this thing, and it basically cuts out the wind. And it did a great job. It managed to cut out the wind. We were cruising up and down the highway, hanging out the back of I think it was a Nissan pickup. I can't remember the model, but managed to get a good interview there. So looking forward to editing that. And I asked John some excellent questions. I'm giving myself the credit there. They were excellent questions. They were great questions, but even better answers about Bitcoin education and vision and how we see things. So John's kind of the founder and director of Mi Prima Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin. So it was such a privilege to get to spend some time with the guy who was super busy in and around the events in San Salvador. It was a real privilege to get 40, 50 minutes just to sit down and enjoy the scenery and talk about Bitcoin education with this guy. So that was amazing. So that was my experience at Mi Prima Bitcoin. Right, what else do I want to chat up? Oh yeah, I was going to chat just a little bit more about the BT clock. So we kind of covered my dashboard here, but I just wanted to shout out to SF and all of these guys, Node Runners Radio. I met some incredible Bitcoiners all the way throughout the event, but one of the key communities out there, I've always loved the Dutch. Shout out to the Netherlands, shout out to the Dutch, but especially like a huge shout out to all Dutch Bitcoiners, because a stat that I was always fascinated by and impressed by was when I was first starting up my own node. I got one of these Raspberry Pis during COVID, and I was learning how to run my own node on Bitcoin so I can verify my own transactions. Well, I was looking at the nodes across the globe. Where are the nodes? Who runs the nodes? And I remember seeing that the Netherlands had the highest amount of nodes per capita. I'm not sure if we could maybe find the address for something like that, but I was always super impressed to see that the highest nodes per capita was the Netherlands. I'm pretty much sure that's the case now, and I was like, okay, cool, good for you guys, you know. But until adopting Bitcoin, I'd never met any Dutch Bitcoiners. Yeah, okay, we can see it here. Let's take a look. So I'm going to this website real quick, which is called bitnodes.io. Bitnodes.io. Let's jump in. So yeah, we can see there are about 19,000 nodes reachable at the moment on Tuesday, the 26th of November. But obviously, you can see it's kind of a huge cluster in and around Europe. But can we zoom in? Let's see if we can zoom into this sucker here. Okay, so we're just populating a little bit. It's loading. Looks like it's pinging all these different nodes at the moment and collecting a map of what's going on. Great website here is bitnodes.io. It was a website like this that I used back in the day. I think there's a way we can zoom in somehow, somewhere. And this is what I was telling you about earlier, about how you can interface with Bitcoin as a low-tech pleb. You can bootstrap your way up by websites like this. So this is a live map, as it says up here, a live map of reachable nodes on the Bitcoin network. So nodes are basically small computers. They can be based in a cloud system, or they can be run out of people's homes, which is usually the case on these microcomputers, like a Raspberry Pi or any reused computer. And what they do is they store a copy of the blockchain. They store a copy of all Bitcoin transactions, which means that you can verify the transactions. You can see whether Bitcoin has been moved from and to, and when it's your turn to make transactions, you can use your own copy of the blockchain to verify that the balances are being sent from the right place to the right place. And basically, it puts you a little bit more in control and gives you a better role of how you're interacting with Bitcoin. So maybe this wasn't the page I was after exactly, because I don't think we can zoom in. But anyway, as you can see, there's a nice little cluster around here on the center around the Netherlands. And they have a huge amount of nodes being operated out of the Netherlands. So meeting some Dutch Bitcoiners was cool, but then I realized they're just not what they call node runners. They're a collective called Node Runners, but they have so many different projects, so many beautiful projects set up, and so many different ways to interface with Bitcoin. They were just the coolest guys at the conference. I'll take my hat off to Node Runners. Coolest guys at the conference. They were running Node Runners FM, which is a 24-hour live streamed radio service. But the coolest thing about this is you can interact with it again through the Lightning Network. You can send across Satoshis to these guys, and you can request songs. You can zap them via Nostra, which is sending small amounts of Bitcoin. You can comment and interact, and it's a fantastic platform. So they had this Bluetooth speaker set up. They printed out some QR codes, and as people went by, they could zap some Satoshis to this live stream and select songs. They could choose which songs they wanted to put up in the playlist. So a jukebox that we had going there. It's frozen a little bit at the moment. Let's see if I click live, it will load. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys got the audio there. I'm not sure if it shares audio, but an amazing. So I listen to this all the time now when I'm working. I just have this on in the background, so I don't need anything else. I just you can see people chatting and interacting with the stream. They also have a Telegram group as well. So this was amazing. This was amazing. So with the Dutch guys, I managed to get a BT clock. I managed to get a new radio station to listen to, and I also managed to purchase some art, some artwork. I'm just going to pause this audio just in case you can't hear it. So I managed to get some art from SF. Let's have a look at the store here. So this is a Dutch-based artist who's selling their artwork for Satoshis. So we were at El Zonte. I think it was like late on a Sunday after a beautiful supper. We went out to grab some cocktails on the beach. And there was this pleb Royale, selling his artwork. Just like that. Bitcoin makes you a self-sovereign individual, and he had his artwork with him as a mobile DJ, mobile art exhibitor. And I also managed to get one of these, in fact. One of these artworks. So this was a collaboration between Noctilus and Pleb Royale. So his story's here. And interesting story. I think it'll be explained on this page somewhere. But I think what happened to this guy is he actually lost his keys and lost some of his Bitcoin. So as they say in Bitcoin, not your keys, not your coin. I think Noctilus may have lost some Bitcoin. Some, all, I'm not sure. But if you lose any Bitcoin, it's a bad day at the office. A bad week, a bad year at the office, I'm not sure. But he'd lost a little bit of Bitcoin there. So as kind of a fundraiser, they just, proof of work. They got back to working and made some artwork and was selling it for Bitcoin. So I'm gonna go and grab you my artwork right now if you bear with me. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. So it'd be nice if I could get the this BT clock on the other side here. Somehow we could get it over this way. Let me try if I can do that. See if I can do that without wrecking up my setup. Is that a bit better? Mm-hmm. I think that might be better, huh? Oh yeah. Scooch it on a bit further. I think that's where it needs to be, right? Yeah, that's where it needs to be. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, this is a Signal in the Noise, which was purchased, I believe, also. No, this one was still for sale. That's why it's on the store. Still for store, for sale. But the one I managed to get, I believe, is called Rat Poison Squared, and it's this one right here. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. So this is my Bitcoin artwork, bought via the Lightning Network at about maybe 2 a.m. on a beautiful evening via the Lightning Network. Instant purchase, easy, frictionless, exchanging the Soundness money for proof of work art. I kind of like this one because it has the rat in the middle, which is, well, maybe someone in the comments can tell me. I forget right now who said it was Rat Poison Squared. Some Fiat dude, which I should know right now. Is it Schiff? Is it Schiff that said Rat Poison Squared? Anyway, so we kind of taken this on, Rat Poison Squared, because in fact, maybe Rat Poison Squared is what a lot of the Bitcoiners say. Yes, it is Rat Poison Squared, but the rats are the bankers. So I like this one. I like this one a lot. Also, the rat, in terms of street art, being from the UK. Shout out to Banksy, who kind of like created a lot of this style of look of the stenciled street art and everything. So I liked it. And it's got signed on the back here, Signal in the Noise, with the block height, which is the classic way that Bitcoiners sign their artwork, which gives proof to when it was purchased. Because behind me you can see, the block height right here now. and we're the Blockite, and we usually artists usually sign with Blockites, which is the way that we know when things were created or birthed into existence. So yeah, this was super fun. This was super fun. So shout out to Plebe Royale and Noctilus. Dutch Bitcoiners, man, they go hard. They go hard. So, you know, selling art, streaming, making open source block BT clocks. I spent the first day just pretty much chilling with those guys and enjoying talking with people, walking through the conference. Okay. So one more thing. What else did I want to talk about today? Yeah, here's the Rat Poison Square. Do you see? Also, a buddy of mine bought this one. Buddy of mine, Murph from BTC Studio, who works in media. He was covering the event. Busiest guys. Those are the shout out to BTC Studio. Let's see if we can find those guys online real quick. BTC Studio. These guys cover a lot of events. BTC Studios, yes, with an S. All right, BTC Studios. Doesn't look like these guys. Okay, maybe the wrong website there. But these guys work super hard covering a lot of events and a lot of where do we go? A lot of events and a lot of live streams, so they can bring the content of a conference like Adopting Bitcoin to everybody else who can't make it. So that's pretty much how I used to watch all the conferences via live streams. So my buddy Murph, he bought this one at the same time from the bar down in El Zonte, Bitcoin Beach. A very happy owner of some unique artwork, Bitcoin artwork. Education and art seem to be the. I'm happy we're here. You know, I'm happy we managed to get here. Bitcoin art seems to be flourishing. There was an art gallery at the Adopting Bitcoin event, and there's a huge emphasis on education. So I think we're there, you know, in the evolution of Bitcoin development, in the evolution of how Bitcoin is flourishing and growing as an ecosystem. It seems that we're there where education and art can finally, it seems to be where a lot of the required innovation is, which is a beautiful thing. We're building a whole new civilization on a Bitcoin standard, and we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Myself, I recognize that. You know, there were the original developers who really made Bitcoin possible, and then the pioneers who built platforms and exchanges, people like Francis, our founder here at Bull Bitcoin. Very privileged to be working with Francis, great leader in the Bitcoin community. And all these wonderful people who made, who got us to where we are today. Without that, we won't be able to do what we do. But some of the most inspiring things that I've seen in the last few days are associated with art and education. Education, obviously, I'm biased there because it is a passion of mine. It's something I love to do. As I said, I was a teacher in the traditional school system in Quebec, and I was looking for ways that I could teach Bitcoin. So it seems to be a question of right time, right place. But also artists are reclaiming the art space through sound money. Finally, artists are able to be well paid and seeing that their work is valued and that their time is valued and their ideas are valued. And so there was some beautiful art as well being exposed at Adopting Bitcoin. And there was an auction, obviously, using Bitcoin. So a couple of people I knew were exposing their art there, and we'll maybe get to interview one of my buddies, Ratel, Fred Guimond, who's making a comic book. He was exhibiting his art as well, so we can maybe talk about that experience. But yeah, art and education in Bitcoin are flourishing. It seems to be like the bleeding edge right now. thanks to all of the hard work that's gone on over the years in Bitcoin to establish this ecosystem. So shout out to all my artists and my educators. All right. I think we got to pretty much the bottom of what I wanted to talk about today. I just want to get online and keep the bullpen going. As I said, I started up a weekly live stream from Bull Bitcoin's account, calling it the bullpen. But then set about traveling. Little did I know I'd be in different spots with Wi-Fi and logistical issues, but show must go on. Show must go on. We got to keep this thing rolling. I'm looking forward to what's to come as I slowly build my skills and my audience. And thanks to everybody in the chats who's watching this. We've been going pretty much an hour now. Been an hour live. I usually keep this thing an hour. So we'll be back again next Tuesday. At what time? Yeah, we might go for like midday Eastern again. Midday Eastern again would be good. There or thereabouts. Looking to get guests. If anybody wants to join the bullpen, feel free to get in touch with me. You can get me at Saxtron3000 on Twitter or Pablo@bullbitcoin.com. Feel free to reach out. But this is Pablo from the bullpen, episode number 4, with a quick review of everything that was adopting Bitcoin, where I've been for the past few days, and some of the coolest things happening in Bitcoin out here in El Salvador. Shout out to Adopting Bitcoin and all the organizational team. Shout out to Mi Premier Bitcoin and all of their educational team. Shout out to my node runners in the Netherlands. Shout out to Bitcoin Jungle and all my colleagues out there in the Bitcoin Jungle. Shout out to all my Bull Bitcoin team and my Bull Bitcoin missionaries. It's been great to be with you. This is Pablo for the bullpen. Signing out. Until next time.
Good job, les gars. Kampai.